Game 6 of the World Series, Blake Snell, the controversy about him being pulled. But let's do a breakdown, shall we? This is the line. You're the coach. You're Kevin Cash. He's gone 5 solid innings, 1 hit ball, 9 Ks on 69 pitches. He's absolutely dominating. But what has he done in the past playoffs, or the playoffs in 2020, when it comes to the third time around? So that's what we want to analyze. But he's facing the 8th and 9 hitters before he reaches the top lineup with Betts. So let's look at his past. This 2020 against Toronto, he pitched an absolutely dominating game, 5 2/3 inning. The third time around, he only faced 1 batter and he got a K. So he did really well. And then when you look at the Yankee series, he kind of struggled. Third time around, he got a ground out for an out, an HR, ground out, double, and then a K. So he struggled, but he got out of that inning. He wasn't pulled. So, and then moving on to game 1 against Houston, it was very efficient. 105 pitches, 1 run in the first inning, and then third time around, it was a K and 2 grounds out in the top of the 5. So he finished that game. And then game 6, he never reached the third time around. They pulled him before that. He wasn't efficient on this game. And then for game 2 against the Dodgers, he faced third time around Betts, who walked, and then Seager, who singled, and then he was pulled. So that's how he performed against third time around. And then here we are in the World Series game 6, and what he was pulled after 5 2/3. Okay, so that's just looking at his postseason against third time around. You know, you can look at it different ways. You look at all the regular season, how he performed, how he performs against third time around, how he's performed versus Betts and Turner and all those guys throughout his career. You can take all those numbers, and you can also look at how hot he looks, how he's pitching this particular game, not the past. And here's how he did during the game. Struck out the first 3 batters in the first inning, dominating. And then his bottom and second, struck out 2 out of 3, so that's 5 out of 6 first batters. Third inning, single, and then 1, 2, 3 closes out the inning. Fourth inning, struck out the side. I mean, he's just still dominating. And then fifth inning, gets 1, 2, 3. So again, very dominating performance. And then first pitch against Pollock, it's a pop-up. So, solid 5 innings. First pitch, he gets a pop-up. You're going, hey, this is great. But again, what are you thinking in your head right now? What's your plan? Is if he struggles with the next batter and walks him, are you pulling him? Is it a base hit you're pulling him? Or are you just pulling him at a certain pitch count? What's in your head as a coach? And here's his line: 5 1/3, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 9 Ks when he faces Austin Barnes. So again, in your head, you're thinking, well, let's see how he pitches against Austin. We've got him coming in here. He's in the 6th inning. He's been extremely dominating. And then first pitch, it's a little high. He could be setting it up, but it wasn't that bad of a pitch. He's still around the plate. He's still consistent on 1-0. So let's look at his next pitch. So again, you're stuck with this dilemma. You're the coach. You've got a 1-0 count. Your pitcher just threw a ball, and then next pitch, perfectly placed strike. And I know some people thought this might have been a ball. This is a perfect strike. And you got to look at it this way. You got the top of the lineup coming, 1, 2, 3. Mookie Betts is after Barnes. They're 0 for 6 strikeouts. And then you got to also think about, if you're like hey, it's all analytics, and here's the prior pitch again. I just want to show it to you twice. Perfect pitch. But even if you're thinking analytics and you're leaning on stats, Mookie against left-handers, he's 100 points lower than versus right-handers. So that's got to come into play, because if you're analytics, that's what you're looking at. Mookie has hit 0 home runs against left-handed pitching. Right-handers, he hit 16. And you're up 1-0. And your pitcher's gone to the top of the lineup 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts in the first 1, 2, 3. So you're taking all those things into effect, and then Barnes hits a base hit. So to me, as a coach, I'm going, he's dominating the first 3 guys in the lineup. That was a little base knock. Let's look at it again. Nothing major. He didn't crush it. He just went with the pitch, and it was a base knock. So at this point, again, what would you do as a coach? And they talk a lot in baseball about going with your hot hand, going with your hot pitcher. So he's the hottest pitcher. The guy in the bullpen isn't been the hottest pitcher, especially based on his last 6 outings. So do you give him one more batter and see how he pitches? Does he fall into the hole 2-0 and then you pull him? How does he operate against that batter? Do you pull him right now? You're just like, hey, you know what? Nope, we're bringing in the bullpen. He's out. He's been pitching a gem, but we're pulling him. Or do you keep him in and give him a chance to give up one more hit, one more walk, and then pull him? What do you do? So Kevin Cash decided to yank him from the game, and you can see Blake's reaction. He was pissed off. So you look at it 2 schools of thought. You go with your hot pitcher, you go with your gut, you go with the guy that's just dominating, and Blake, and you know how he's dominated the top of that Dodger lineup and how Mookie's not hitting left-handers great. You're up 1-0. you have that type of choice, or you can be analytics and look at it and be like, hey, you know what? He was up and down performing third time around in the playoffs this year. You know, we looked at his regular season, you know, yada, yada. You can lean on the analytics and stats side, but look what happened. As soon as they yanked him, Betts doubled off of Anderson, and then Barnes reaches on a wild pitch, and then Seager, that infield choice where Betts scores, and then Turner flies to left, and then they bring in another pitcher, Loop, to get Muncy out. So everything fell apart. And, you know, like I said, if you look at analytics, Anderson's not the right move. If you look at analytics, keeping Blake in is the move. So if you remove the names of the players and everything, and you just look at the numbers and everything like that, then keeping Blake in against Betts was the smarter move than bringing in Anderson. So it's a confusing move by the coach of Tampa Bay because analytics don't support this move. And Anderson also gives up a wild pitch, so he just chokes. But this is the 7th appearance in a row that he's given up a run. So, you know, it's not the catcher's fault on that wild pitch. That was straight up the pitcher. So, again, this was a bad move. The majority of people, I think, in baseball and fans are saying this is a bad move by Tampa Bay, and then the wheels just came off after that. Mookie scored on the fielder's choice, and then also Mookie comes up later on the game and crushes a home run. So, you know, bad move by Tampa Bay. I would have kept Blake in. I think the majority of people thought the same. Keep Blake in the game. He's pitching great. If he gives up another hit, then yeah, yank him. That's how I'm looking at it, but I think it was a quick hook. Even the announcers were saying, wow, that's a short leash, and the rest is history. Dodgers went on to win the World Series, and this will go down as probably one of the big bad moves by Kevin Cash. Probably one of his big regrets, but still a great season for both teams.